We are going to start today off with going on a parts run. Unfortunately, we had another failure on one of our project cars. Now, can you guys guess which car it was this time? If you guessed the Z, you're right. Recently, when I've been coming to a stop at a red light, the steering wheel will shake like crazy. So I suspect we have a sticky or seized caliper, which ended up warping the rotor. So the wheel is just shaking like crazy. And you can see all this brake dust building up. Oh man. That's my guess at least. And by the looks of it, this is not an OEM caliper. The OEM ones have Nissan engraved. And these are cast iron. So I'm hoping that the calipers we pick up are aluminum. There's 3 different types of Z calipers. I think I've gone over that in the recent video. Maybe I'll give a refresher depending on what calipers we get, but let's go get some parts. This is how it is without hitting the brake. This is crazy. Oh my God. All right, this is with hitting the brake. Not good. Well. How have you been, bro?
Damn paradise, man.
You finished the silver car?
Yeah, anybody want to buy it, hit me up.
How much you want for it?
Oh.
He doesn't know, but it's for sale. Yeah, taking offers.
Taking offers. Highest bidder wins.
There you go. What you working on, dude? What's this?
A hood,
Yeah.
couple bumpers, you know, just a little couple of.
Staying busy, I see.
Trying.
Hell yeah, man. Good stuff.
Got to. Before it was like kind of obnoxious, but now it's kind of like VG life.
VG life?
Yeah, no turbo though.
No Turbski on this one. It sounds pretty good, actually.
No lie.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
A little straight fire. For sale, come buy it. Hey, some 16-year-old will love it. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, I'd love it.
If I had got one of these, well, I did get one when I was 16, but
Yeah, see, now you're hooked. Gotta
don't
start
buy
on your
it.
own.
Don't buy it, 16-year-olds. Don't buy it. Well, financial trouble. Sounds like a 350Z.
It does sound like a Z. Well, a 350Z. It's got a little rasp to her.
She's got a couple exhaust leaks on her. You know?
Pulling up to the loading dock real quick.
Start recording video.
Because believe it or not, we are getting more than just calipers today. We're gonna see how much we can load in this thing.
Which one are you trying to put in first?
Let's start with putting the trans in, yeah. Peyton had a spare 5-speed Z32 trans. We can definitely put that to use.
Here, I'm gonna put this up a little bit.
All right. And we also have a couple calipers, just a few. Be careful. Spare parts trans, locked and loaded.
This one goes out to all the haters.
We have arrived at Mr. Nate's house. And for those of you who don't know, Nate's my brother. Not sure what we're gonna do with this spare trans. Maybe we can try and put it back together. But let's focus on the calipers. We just need one front left. Let's do a quick spin check. Dude, I actually cannot spin this wheel. It is off the ground. May not look like it, but it is. Okay, that's a lot harder than I thought it would be. Damn. Oh, that brake dust. I'm really hoping a line didn't get pinched because there's a whole bunch of brake lines throughout this entire car because the ABS is in the rear. So there's lines going under the car, through the car, all over the place. I would like to eliminate that this year though. All right, what's going on in here? I'm not seeing any obvious pinches in here. Ooh, this line is warm though. These are very hot. And a good way to tell if your lines are twisted or not, the rubber lines will usually have these ridges on them. So you can see the lines going through them, and they're all straight, and there's no twists in them or harsh bends. That's how I know it's okay. Same thing goes for the metal line. Does not appear to be damaged. Our thread protection is working on our coilover though.
This thing fully loaded.
It is fully loaded. There's a parts trans that we can try and put back together and use for your car.
Really?
Dude, this caliper is stuck. When I jacked up the car, I couldn't even spin the wheel. Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
That's first I've seen.
Right? That's
On a
bad.
Z.
For real, on a Z. But then again, Reman. No Nissan badge in the front. I have to grab a hammer here. We carefully got this caliper slightly off the rotor, but before we take it off all the way, I wanted to open this bleeder to see if any pressure comes out fast, I guess. Because if it does come out quick, that means that this is a line pressure issue and maybe it's backed up somewhere. But if it comes out dripping, then it's a caliper issue, most likely. Okay, just stripped it off. Ah, the joys. We'll go grab a 6-point. Try number 2, but with a 6-point. Oh my gosh, this is tight. Let's see how it's coming out. I just cracked it loose a little bit. And it's not coming out at all. Okay, so what does that mean? That was not in my hypothesis at all. Unless this bleeder is jammed. Okay, so it's dripping out. It's not oozing out. So that tells me most likely the caliper has failed. Just snug that up real quick. All right. Okay, see, with the pressure relieved, it's still hugging the rotor. So that is not a line pressure issue. Sometimes on these older cars, that is important to check because you never know what the issue can be. It's not always just the caliper that goes out on these. All right, now I'm gonna carefully remove this the rest of the way from the rotor. So as I mentioned in the start of the video, there's a couple different variations for the Z32 front calipers. All the rear Z32 calipers are the same. As for the fronts, there are 3 variations. One, it comes on the early models. They are considered 30mm calipers. This is how you can tell if it's a 30mm caliper. You measure where the rotor would go. So obviously the brake pads go on top of these pistons here, and the rotor should fit in here freely. When you measure this, 30. Well, just above, but 30mm caliper. And they're aluminum. That's also very important. The next variation we don't have here, and it's funny enough, that's the one that we need. Third variation is on the late spec only. These are cast iron, so they're super heavy. I honestly think they converted to cast iron because I've seen many threads strip out back here where the brake line attaches. So ultimately, I think that's why, just for a safety reason. But then you lose the lightness in the calipers. But either way, you can see the distance here is much wider because these are bigger calipers too. I'm pretty sure the diameter of the rotor is the same. It's just the overall thickness because these measure out to around 34.5. Now this is a Reman caliper, so I don't know if that's the same for OEM, but it is bigger either way, OEM or Reman. Late spec cast iron. And then the one that we need is the aluminum large caliper, so it'd be the aluminum 34mm. Peyton sold me 2 full sets of calipers, luckily, and I was hoping that one of them was going to be the correct size. I probably should have measured. Either way, these calipers can be used on many other projects, so I'm not too concerned about it. Funny enough, when I need it right now, it doesn't work. Well, this job just got a whole lot harder. It's pouring.
How do we extend the legs? Is it the wind or what is it?
For real.
Why is it so hard? Okay. Down, down, down. Keep moving that way. More over, yeah. That ain't bad.
Alrighty.
That happened way too fast.
Man. He heard it grumbling in the sky. He's like, that don't sound too promising.
We heard it earlier too. Yeah, that wasn't great timing.
We would be in the middle of this project. All right, let's get this done with. So as you guys know, I had to hammer my caliper off of the rotor. I have to hammer my caliper back onto the rotor.
Oh, man.
Hey, that's okay. These are cast iron, late spec.
Great.
Gosh, this is so stupid. I don't even need to hold the caliper. Look at that.
There you go.
It's just, bruh. Now, yeah, it's not always the best idea to skate in the rain. Skateboard decks are not waterproof and neither are bearings, but simply putting a little bit of oil in the bearings brings it back to life. And well, for the board, oh well. We got mail, and I'm hoping these are the correct rotors. I also picked up a subframe from Peyton. This is a Z32 subframe that I'm planning to restore and rebuild and put on the Z. It looks to be in good shape. The bushings don't even look that bad, but while it's out, I still want to replace it for some stiffer ones. And maybe while it's out, I'll get powder coated too. Deciding on what color still. Before I take this apart all over again, let's make sure we actually have the right parts. There's just something about ordering these Z rotors where you might get the wrong size. This happens to me multiple times. And this one is a perfect example of one I received in the incorrect size. Oh, look at that, box in a box. Ooh, these are zinc coated. So this is how you would determine if you have the correct size. So remember, the turbo model or the late spec has a width of 34 millimeters. The base model or early model calipers have a 30 millimeter width. So this needs to be 26-ish. And it looks like it is, 26. So we measure this one and look at how thick this is, 30. So another way I've seen people label these calipers is 26 mil calipers or 30 mil calipers, even though that's referring to the rotor itself. But if you compare diameter to diameter, they are the same. You can see that they're butted up together. So the only difference between all three calipers is the thickness of rotors. I really hope that information helped someone out. It would have helped me out long ago. I know that for sure. Now I know these are labeled passenger and driver, left versus right, but this one says it's the left driver, and that would mean that the slashes are going this way. I've always been a believer that the slashes start from the inside and go towards the outside, basically like this one was. I'm curious what you guys would put on. I'm personally going to put on the right side onto the left side. I think it looks better that way and it just makes more sense in my head. I did put the new rotor on, but I lightly threaded in the old caliper again so I can take off this fitting. And now you really should use a line wrench here, but I can't find my 10 millimeter line wrench. Can you believe that? A 10 mil went missing. And I've already got the new left front caliper ready to go. These are aluminum, so they're super light compared to these irons. And I know that this is a left caliper because the bleeder screw is on top. And although this fitting is starting to round off, it is cooperating with us, meaning it is not sticking to the hard line. If it was, we'd probably have to go buy a new hard line. I put some cardboard down for the leaking fluid. Put this caliper on. Now, yeah, there's no brake pads on there just yet. I'll show you guys how easy these brake pads are to do. Our line is not twisted. All the grooves are straight. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the fitting down. And now since the line is tight, I'm gonna wipe all the fluid away from where it was dripping, because then when we're starting to bleed the system, I'll know for sure if it's leaking from this point or not. That's just really good to keep an eye out, especially with old fittings and parts like this. You can never be too safe, especially with the braking system. Next step is tightening the caliper all the way. I only loosely fit it so we had some wiggle room to start the hard line. Now you don't have to do this, but it may make it easier for you. I'm gonna put a lug nut on the rotor. That'll help center it within the caliper. Also notice how it's not grinding. Now for the brake pads. I'm gonna grease the backside. This is some high temp brake grease. This is where the pistons will contact the brake pad. And then the edges of the caliper. This is where the brake pad is gonna ride. Just try your best not to paint grease on the rotor, kind of like I did. There's a little spot on there. You can wipe that up though. Now this is how easy these brake pads are to do. The friction material always goes towards the rotor, and these holes are gonna go on the top side. And you just slide it in. Simple. Now we can't just trust that they're gonna stay there, so we're gonna put these pins through the front, hook it into that first pad. This pad fell down too far, so we're gonna pull it up a little bit, push in the pin. There we go. All right, do that for the next pin. Oh, I probably should have greased these first. Don't forget to grease your slide pins. Slide pins are in, both are greased. I went ahead and took that one out and greased it too. Now this is the clip that will hold the pins in. We're gonna slide it into that hole. Now you can see it's like a hook. And you twist the hook in to that hole. Now we need to bleed the brakes. Unfortunately, I don't have anyone here to press the brake pedal. I'm gonna have to figure something out or wait for the next person to walk by. I just realized I totally forgot to put in this clip. This helps lock the brake pads down and centered. Pull this guy back out, and then this goes up here. And where this is gonna contact the brake pads, I'm going to apply some grease. So it looks like it's gonna go right here. Trying not to get it on the rotor, like me. There we go. We're gonna push this down and then slide this in. Here we go. And we'll reinstall our clip. Oh, almost lost it. Oh, did lose it. Well, these calipers are ready to rock, so I'm gonna wait until I can find someone that can help me bleed the brakes, get all the air out of the system. But I need to drop off some parts to Tim. These are some RC parts, and since this is my daily, I guess we'll take the Gloria out. Look at this guy. What's up?
I texted you and said I was like, pull through in the Gloria, you won't. I already knew this was nice weather today.
Yes, sir.
All right, what you got for me, bro?
Oh, hold on, let me put this in P.
Ooh.
Gotta support local. Highly recommend. Good stuff. We've made it back to the Z, and I still haven't found anyone that can help me bleed the brakes yet. And I did go ahead and replace the caliper and rotor on this side as well. We can't have mismatched calipers and rotors. I'll probably just give these to someone who's willing to do the rebuild on them. I unfortunately do not have the time. As you guys know, we have a lot of projects to work on. But anyways, while the car is up in the air, I figured this would be a good time to see if this power steering pressure line will work on the Z. If you guys don't remember, I actually used the stock 300zx VG30 power steering pressure line that goes from the rack to the power steering pump. Now, as you know, the KA is out of the 240SX, and the stock engine for the Z is a V6, and the power steering pump is on the opposite side. But I was able to spin this one around and make it fit. This is significantly shorter and would clean up the bay quite a bit. Plus, I'm noticing we're losing a significant amount of power steering fluid. We're looking dry on our stick here and empty in our reservoir. And it looks like the return side is completely dry, even on the rack. But also the pressure side looks dry on the pump, but I am noticing a puddle down here by the subframe, pretty close to where that sensor attaches to the pressure line. So I don't know if there's a seal in there that's going bad or what's going on. Now we know for a fact this is gonna fit into the KA pump, but I don't know if the fittings to the rack are the same. So I think I'm gonna start with taking off the pressure line and verifying that this fitting actually works. So these two fittings here are what we're worried about. The bigger one is the return side. The smaller one is the pressure side. Looks like a 14, so let's try and break that loose. These two fittings are what come with the kit, and this one is for the rack. Ooh, it's steel too. The ones I used on my S13 are aluminum. And this is the seal for it. This goes on the very tip, just like that. I'm gonna try my best to not drop these crush washers so I don't lose them, just in case I need them again. That sounds crusty. Oh, there's a leaf on it. Hopefully these threads are the same. Let's get that crush washer off first. Now we have both crush washers, just in case. Compare the threads. Oh, it feels good. I think that's it. Oh, I don't know if that rubber band was on there correctly. I'm gonna take it off just to verify. Gotta make sure, especially with something like this. Uh-oh. Well, looks like I already lost the seal. Probably should have like glued it on or something first. Oh, I think it's still in there. I'm gonna try and fish it out with something. Got it. Try number 2. Oh my gosh. Next, let's put this fitting onto the pump. Not sure which way this thing goes. That also has me wondering, do I take off this banjo bolt or this banjo bolt? There's two. Let's see how long the line is. Looks like it'll reach either port, so I think we'll be good to take it off. I guess the more forward banjo bolt. Oh, so random. It makes a lot more sense to install this fitting with the gasket going into the pump. Oh no, it's not the right thread. Uh-oh. All right, so it looks like it has a thread into the back side of this banjo fitting thing. Glad we figured that out. I was starting to get worried. All we gotta do now is connect this port to that port on the rack. I'm gonna leave that loosely in case I need to rotate it. Oh, this is a weird angle. I wonder if the rack fittings come out in the same direction on the Z versus the S chassis. This new line looks way cleaner than this old stock crusty Z line. Check it out. Got it fully mounted up. I tried to angle it away from the exhaust manifold to avoid heat, and I am very thrilled with how that looks. What do you guys think? Before I forget, let's top off the power steering fluid. These cars take Dexron 3, which is automatic transmission fluid. Wait, that's multi-purpose. Dexron. Although it says Dexron 6, it says Dexron 3 on the back. I also cleaned up all of the fittings so that, well, as I was trying to say, I cleaned up all the fittings so that I'd know if there was a leak. Why can't I pour anything? This is not the first time that's happened, believe it or not. Gonna have to take this thing to the car wash. So I wiped everything off and I was continuing to see drips. And I was like, all right, there's definitely something leaking. What's going on? So check it out. So let's look at it from the bottom here. There we go, there's the pump. And look at that return fitting. That's definitely oozing. I'm hoping it's just loose and I can tighten it. Oh, it's tight all right. Damn. I'm going to clamp the return line because that's where that fitting is going to. It goes from the reservoir down this tube here into the fitting that is leaking. Can't really see it from the top angle. But instead of draining all the fluid that I just filled up, and that was my last bottle, I think I'm gonna try and clamp the hose so it won't allow fluid to fall down. Then I'll take off this hose clamp from the fitting, take off the fitting, and then apply some RTV. I don't know if there's supposed to be sealant there to begin with, but either way, I figured we might as well do something while we're in this predicament because it is dripping non-stop. That's a huge puddle. Just pulled off the fitting and this is what it looks like. So it does have something that slides into the pump and there is an O-ring that's supposed to be there. I'm pretty sure it's flattened. Check it out. It's there. It's not doing much though. Also, my clamp method did not work the best. It's dripping out pretty fast. I even shoved the banjo bolt in there to slow it down, so I'm gonna slap some RTV on here and hopefully get that reinstalled shortly. Laid some goop on there Now this isn't the typical way and this isn't the correct way, but will this fix the problem? Yes, I'm sure it will. I'm gonna let this sit for about 5 or so minutes so it can harden slightly, and then I'll reinstall it. I find that if you install it too early, it won't actually get a good seal. It'll press all the sealant out before it gets a chance to harden in place. Got everything put back together, and check out the bottom. Unfortunately, it looks like it's still dripping, but not from the same spot. It looks like there's a seepage line that goes up towards that banjo bolt that we took off already. So I'm gonna try and tighten it, see if it's still too loose. If not, I'm gonna take it off and clean the crush washers and try and reinstall it. Now I'm wondering if this return fitting was even leaking to begin with. But hey, at least we know it's good now. Ow. Oh, got a couple cranks out of it. All right, I'm gonna clean it up and see if it leaks now. I'm gonna do a quick bleed, which basically just means turn the wheel all the way to the left. Oh. And all the way to the right a couple times, lock to lock. Now let's check our fittings. Oh, sweet. It stayed dry. I think that one's good now. Let's check the rack. The rack fitting is looking good. There's a little bit of fluid there, but that could have already been there. Now we're still back to the original problem, bleeding the brakes. This is just the joys of working on cars sometimes. Well, 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 look who we got here. What's up, baby?
Oh, you gotta edit out all the squeaks, bro.
Dude, I didn't even hear you coming.
Really?
Of course I heard you coming, bro. What's up, man?
How could you not? You, I don't know when you show up. You just kind of...
Yeah, stock exhaust on this one.
Kind of outside already. It's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, thank you for coming.
New brakes, dude?
Yeah, dude, the last ones were seized.
Oh, yeah, dude. They were
locked up when
cooking.
you
Came over.
Yep.
Yes, bro. And then you drove all the way back home.
Yep, wheels shaking like crazy.
Dude, that had to be intense.
All you, baby.
This is golden. You gonna rebuild them?
You are. They're yours now.
The calipers?
Yeah, you want them?
Oh, dude, what? No way. I was talking about... Hell yeah, dude.
There you go.
I'll rebuild these bitches and powder coat them.
That'd be sick.
My hatch, I took the ones off the hatch for the 14th. Now I got a set for the hatch.
Hell yeah.
Dude, hell yeah, dude. Thank you. Let's go.
There you go. That was easy.
For the win, bro.
That's a good trade. You help me bleed brakes, you get toasted
That's
brakes.
a hell of a fucking trade, dude. It's like $300, $400, bro.
I don't know about that much.
I can't fathom it.
Dude, the livery goes crazy on here.
I had to add the hood piece, bro.
Oh yeah, the hood definitely matches well.
Missing something?
Yep.
I mean, I just kept thinking about the RC car, bro, and it was just like, everyone always like, dude, it looks sick.
Oh, speaking of that, let me give you your RC car before I forget it. It's just been sitting in my garage. It's like, Devin, drive me. Here you are, sir.
Drops it.
Right?
Thanks, bud. It was funny because I'm sitting at the alignment shop all day today, and I'm like, damn, I wish I had my RC car.
Yeah, that'd been clutch.
I've just been driving around the...
All right, you want to pump her up a few times? All right, hold it for a second. Ooh, that like steamed out. Oh my gosh. The fun process. All right. There we go. We decided to do something a little different this time. We put the Work VS X9 on there. Devin suggested it. He's like, you should put some chrome on the front.
Chromes, bro?
He's not wrong. He is not wrong.
Once we can get off all the other like, two to match the rear.
Yeah, that's good. The dish looks sick on this car. All right, what you want to do?
I don't know. We should test fit them on my car.
Dude, you need 18s on that thing.
It's all right. I'll run 17s.
The monster truck tire.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, should we take a test drive to the skate park?
Yeah. I just grab my wood out of my trunk.
Grab your wood.
Grab my wood.
Unfortunately, Devin had to head home early, but I think I might still go for a quick skate sesh. What do you guys think about these front wheels? I didn't think I was gonna be a big fan of them on the front, but honestly, I think they fit the car very well. Also, I'm really digging the dish, but it is weird that there's no dish in the back. Can't go wrong with some chrome johnnies, right? Also, the car feels much faster. I'm wondering how long the front calipers were dragging. As you guys know, I log every fill up in this fuel app, and it calculates the average mile per gallon. On this fill up, we got 20 miles to the gallon. So I'm curious on the next fill up, how many more miles to the gallon we're gonna get, since those front calipers were pretty locked up. Something about gas station lighting though, damn. I don't know what it is, but something is making this car look lower. I just can't wait to throw the rest of the kit on. If it looks low stock body, just imagine how it's gonna look with a kit. I definitely had a fight to land this trick, but the 45 minutes to get it was well worth it. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Don't forget to drop a like if you haven't already. See you guys in the next one. Peace. That's toast.